Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales, the place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by host me, Tai Tiger. Today we're diving back into Power Rangers Universe 20, where you'll find original stories written and read to you by your host, Mark the Corner Stranger, on the Nerds Through Comics podcast. There you'll find the original story, Power Rangers Royal Britannia, and an ongoing series called The Tales of Royal Council. Well, I have my very own storyline, which is actually inspired by the Ultra Rangers story that Cosplay Dude 637 created on the Universe 19 podcast. This is my very own version of the Ultra Rangers. I'm following the rules and the regulations that Cosplay Dude made up by putting it into Universe 20. So you could call this a 3 Ranger Bros collaboration. This is the Ultra Rangers Wild Force. Ultra Rangers Wild Force brings you the Wild Force Chaos, coming back together again to become Ultra Rangers, after a different version of Kite has come to our universe to destroy it. Because he believes that all humans are scum, and all humans should be eradicated from all the multiverse. So let's dive in.
This podcast is a production of the 3 Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zeo to Hero, the podcast.
Ultra Rangers Wild Force, Chapter 4, Attempting to Connect. The team all stood there on the Animarium. The outburst given by Wes a few days beforehand still rang with the team. "It's not our fault we were chosen," Danny muttered. "Yeah, we didn't ask to come back to this," Max barked. "Alright guys, wind it in. It's not anyone's fault. Wes can have his old temper tantrum if he wishes," Taylor snapped. "Hey, easy now. We know Wes is having a hard time since Jen has been in a coma," Cole said. "We should be less worried about some ranger, and more worried about our new foe," Zenaki grunted. "I agree. We should not just stand here. The princess is once again in the hands of the enemy," Merrick grunted. "Guys, we should all take a breather," Alyssa piped up. Everyone nodded. They all sat down and took a moment to catch their breath and to clear their heads. "Okay, I'll mention it, since everyone else is thinking it." "Kite is our foe," Taylor muttered. "Yes, another version of Animus is kinda cool. An evil version of Animus, though, is super scary," Max shuddered. "We managed to get through our Kite once before. Why not this one?" Cole suggested. "I think he's been a little too far pushed over the edge," Zanaki growled. Suddenly, the pond started rippling, and everyone gathered around it to look into the waters and saw more of the Shadorians causing havoc in Turtle Cove, this time by the museum. "Let's go," Cole ordered. The team arrived outside the museum. They saw the Shadorians terrorizing civilians. They all pulled out their Ultra Sabers and slotted in their animal crystals. Then they all hit the bottom of their handles with their palms before raising them into the air. "Ultra Access!" they all called out, and then in a sparkle of light they all morphed into their Ultra Ranger forms. The Ultra Rangers Wild Force stood there. "Red Ultra Bear!" the Red Ultra Ranger called out. "Gold Ultra Eagle!" the Gold Ultra Ranger called out. "Grey Ultra Cobra!" the Grey Ultra Ranger called out. "Blue Ultra Bat!" the Blue Ultra Ranger called out. "Silver Ultra Fox!" the Silver Ultra Ranger called out. "Pink Ultra Stallion!" the Pink Ultra Ranger called out. "Black Ultra Hyena!" the Black Ultra Ranger called out. Then the Ultra Rangers ran into the group of Shadorians. The Blue Ranger jumped up and slammed his knee into the Shadorians. As it dropped to the floor, the Blue Ranger landed on top of it and punched into its face several times, the shadow being exploded underneath him. The Grey Ranger picked up a Shadorian and slammed on the floor. The Shadorian bounced off the floor and the Grey Ranger booted the Shadorian as it came back up and booted it into more of the Shadorians. The Gold Ranger summoned her wings, took flight and grabbed one of the Shadorians by the ankles and swung it around, smacking other Shadorians in the head. Then she threw the Shadorian up in the air and slammed both her feet into the creature. The Pink Ranger swooped her foot under one of the Shadorians, tripping it up. Then she blocked an incoming attack. She grabbed the creature's wrist and flipped the creature over her shoulder, slamming it into the one that she just tripped over. The Red Ranger slammed his fists out and slammed them into 2 Shadorians, knocking them back. Then he flipped forward, colliding his foot into another one. Then he ran up to one of the Chidorian's body, then kicked off the creature. As he came back down, he landed on the creature, dropping his knee into the Chidorian's face. The Silver Ranger flipped over Chidorian, then he lifted the Chidorian up and slammed it into the ground. He then swung his foot out behind him, kicking another one in the shin. As it dropped to one knee, the Silver Ranger spun around and kicked it in the head. The Black Ranger butted one of the Chidorians multiple times, then he pulled it a little closer and elbowed it in the head. Then he turned to another one and caught its fist as it threw a punch. Then he pulled in closer, grabbed it by the throat, lifted up into the air, and crushed its throat until it exploded into nothing. The Ultra Rangers made very quick work of the Chidorians. Once the area was clear, they all grouped up and saw Kite stood there holding his staff. "Kite!" the Red Ranger called out. "You don't get to talk to me," Kite sneered. "But Kite, if we could just talk," the Grey Ranger stated. "I am the conqueror of the human race. I have left countless Earths to thrive, to grow, without your disgusting human hands all over it. I do not need to talk," Kite growled. "Please, come back to the Animarium," the Pink Ranger called out. "Come talk to the Animus," the Pink Ranger said. "Or at least give us back the princess," the Silver Ranger barked. "Neither of them are going to happen," Kite sighed. "Either you're gonna have to give us the princess, or have to beat you," the Gold Ranger snapped. Then she ran at Kite. Kite aimed his staff, and an energy blast left it. It hit the Golden Ranger head on, and an explosion engulfed the Ranger as she was thrown off her feet. "Stay down, Goldilocks, if you know what's good for you," Kite hissed. "Kite, please, listen to me. I know Animus. Your Merrick must have made the same mistake I did. You know, I'm trying to speak to you. No fighting. Meet me halfway here," the Silver Ranger said, taking several steps forward with his hands up in surrender. "You don't think other versions of Merrick have tried the same speech? Animus was once a powerful god, a being like no other, and he tested you, but I forgot. Animus is nothing but a memory now. I was born from nothing. I thrived on the hatred for you disgusting humans," Kite barked. Then he gripped his staff with both hands, aimed at the Silver Ranger, and a surge of purple lightning exploded from his staff and zapped the Ranger, throwing him back. He landed on the ground with a hard thud. Kite then slammed his staff on the ground, and a surge of black energy rippled through the concrete. Then he stood tall and looked at the Ultra Rangers with an evil sneer. Then he simply teleported away. Everyone demorphed. Taylor and Merrick stood up incredibly slowly, both feeling a bit bruised and sore. Then Cole sat down on a bench, a pained look all over his face. Alyssa sat next to him and leaned on his shoulder. "We will figure this out, you know," Alyssa told him. "Yeah, I know," Cole muttered. "Dude, this stinks," Max moaned. "Hey, never give up," Danny barked at him, gripping his shoulder. "Yeah, man, I know. Never give up," Max nodded. "We should be out finding him," Zanaki grunted. Yeah, give it a rest already," Taylor snapped. "I hope the princess is okay," Merrick said with a sigh. Everyone felt a bit lost, a bit unsure. They did not have a plan. Then suddenly, the ground started rumbling. Everyone grabbed onto each other to brace themselves. The ground opened up, and a big black set of tendrils exploded from the hole, and reached into the sky as high as it could. The tendrils woven themselves together, then it phased into a black energy, and the monster formed. A giant black monstrous lizard-looking thing. A monster stood over the city. "Well, we've definitely been here before," Taylor groaned. "Is everyone okay?" Alice asked. "Yep, I think so," Max replied. "Guys, it's kinda huge," Danny said with a gasp as he pushed his glasses up his nose, looking up at the monster. "Let's stop gawking and destroy it then," Zanaki growled. Everyone slotted their animal crystals into their sabers and raised their sabers into the air, and in a flash of light they morphed. They all looked at each other. "Alright guys, let's try out these Ultra Zords," the Red Ranger said with an aura of determination. And there you have it, guys. Another installment to the Ultra Rangers Wild Force series. If you're listening to this on the Nerds Who Comic podcast, then thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Mark's other stuff. He's got his original stories like Power Rangers World Britannia and the Tales of the Ranger Council, but he also adapts comic books into audio dramas. Things like the Star Trek Doctor Who crossover and of course Power Rangers. So you might want to go check it out. If you're listening to this on Tiger Tales, make sure you subscribe to Tiger Tales, because you'll find more Power Rangers stuff, which also connects to Mark the Cornish Ranger. Make sure you check out Tiger Tales The Lost Stories, Tiger Tales Game Over, Tiger Tales Mysterious Origins, other channels where you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by me, and some original stuff. Make sure you check out Tiger Tales X. This is where you'll find complete crossover fanfictions written by me, with two actual franchises crossing over with each other. For example, Ben 10 and Doctor Who. Make sure you check out Cosplay Dude 637's Power Rangers Universe 19. There you'll find more Power Rangers and Kamen Rider fanfictions written and read to you by him. I've also got some of my own Power Ranger and Kamen Rider stories on that universe as well. You might want to go check it out. That being said, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Tiger Tales channel, and I shall see you guys real soon.
Don't touch my Pringles.